Good afternoon and welcome all designers. Firstly, happy International Building Designers Day. We love working with all designers all over Sydney, so a big shout out to you all. As you know, my name is Karina Traill. I'm also here with my colleague Terry Lakaitis today. He'll be running the chat and the Q&A features, so if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please put them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we'll try to answer as many as we can at the end of the presentation. As you're aware, the garage door is the largest moving item in the home, and it's used multiple times per day at any hour and all year round. This is why it is important to specify the correct garage door. Today we're specifically discussing the latest trends in garage doors, which is timber panelling. Firstly, as I said, my name is Karina. I'm the part owner of PT Doors, which is based in Menai. PT Doors is a garage door company we were established in 2008 by Peter, who's my husband, and myself. We're known throughout Sydney as your garage door specialist. We have a mission to offer clients professional sales, service and installation of garage doors, but also to elevate the professional standards of the garage door industry through educating the installers, the designers and the end users. As I'm sure you can appreciate, there are a lot of cowboys out there, and that's why we are a member of the Australian Garage Door Association, known as AGDA. AGDA promotes the use of only using certified garage door installers, similar to how the BDAA promotes using accredited building designers. We are not aligned to any particular supplier because we believe in providing the right product to suit our clients' needs and budgets. I'm sure most of you have seen these doors before, but just to make sure we're on the same page, I wanted to quickly run through the three main types of garage doors in the Australian market. They are the roller door, the sectional door, and the tilt door. Timber doors that we're going to discuss today typically work best as sectional or tilt doors. Let's have a quick look at these three slides. So the first one is the roller door. It's one of the most versatile door options available, with smooth vertical openings and no internal tracks. They operate simply. We like to say they roll up like a ball or carpet. The sectional door is one of the most common garage doors available in today's market. They usually consist of anywhere between 4 to 6 vertical panels that break up. They slide up and overhead. They occupy more internal space than tilt doors. And the final one is the tilt door, which is made up of one solid piece that tilts out and up via power arms that are fixed to the sides. These power arms act as a series of pulleys. They are connected to extension type springs. So why is timber the latest trend in garage doors? There are a few materials that provide the warmth, elegance, and sophistication of wood. It's been a common building material for hundreds of years and remains an immensely popular option for our homeowners today. It is also one of the most converted materials for garage doors, as it provides a classic look and often blends well with the rest of the home's facade. There are two options. There are timber doors made from sustainable materials, or timber look garage doors. Timber look garage doors, they look great. They're often more cost effective, and they require significantly less maintenance. However, for some of your clients, there will simply be no substitute for the natural look and feel of real timber. We primarily use cedar. Why cedar, you ask? Well, cedar is a lightweight, air and kiln dried timber that's been used in Australia for many decades. It is a stable, hard-wearing, easy to maintain, and most importantly, it looks amazing. Our cedar doors can be supplied fully assembled and installed, or as a naked frame for your builder to clad and finish. The cedar is fixed vertically or horizontally in what is known as batons. The batons come in a range of configurations. This particular door shown here is what we call a flush mount install. So you'll see, if you look closely, you can see the 4 panels, and then the facades and the head panel is also batten, so it's giving that seamless appearance across the front of the home. I'll just play a little video for you now that will show you the process of how a custom garage door is made. You can see that they start with the base, which is usually at the back in what we call like an alley composite material or an acrylic, and then they lay all the battens. They'll use different batten sizes as well as the spacings as well. This is the finished product. So you can see now all the battens are all lined, and it's on a fully aluminium frame that can be powder coated in any color of your choice. This is the end result after the door was installed. This is actually a recent install of the cedar batten door that you just saw being made in the video. And now this is the actual door in operation. So from a distance, it's very hard to see, that this is actually a panel door. It is quite seamless. Often people think it's a tilt door, but it's actually quite achievable to have a timber vertically battened sectional door and still have that very seamless, that finish that you want from the outside. So moving on from their sectional doors, there is also tilt doors. That's an option. So these are some images here of some cedar tilt doors that were done in conjunction with a builder. I think these doors look fantastic. This is particularly an example of a flush mounted tilt door. It's the same as with the sectional door, where the door is brought forward to the front of the property, the front of the facade, and it's all seamless with the sides and the head panel. So what I'll just show you here is basically a close-up of the 3 doors that we've just shown you, the sectionals and the tilts. You can see that the top row uses a slightly thinner batten with thinner spacings. The second row uses a slightly bigger batten and also bigger spacings. And then the third row, this one here is actually a batten door without a backing. So it actually does allow for ventilation, but also, you don't have to worry about. Typically for ventilation, you always had to go for, a steel or an aluminium door. You can actually have a nice timber door, but also allow for ventilation with this option. This is just another example of, instead of having a batten door with spacing, this is sort of a tongue and groove situation. It's a Damar vertical 86 millimeter a panel door. It can be done horizontally. In this case, it was done vertically. And this is in a raw finish. So if the client would like to opt to have the door painted or stained themselves. If they're, after one of the finishes that the manufacturer provides, this is obviously the door I was just showing you earlier that was installed recently. And the manufacturer that we use for this door uses Q-Tech. And there's a variety of stains available for this particular door. Now, so there's also other alternatives to cedar, such as Shadowclad. This is a custom garage door that we created for a renovated property in the eastern suburbs. This garage door has been clad with a product called Shadowclad. It's culled from sustainable, stylish and versatile plywood cladding, and it comes complete with an available FSC chain of custody certified upon request for green stars. This product is easy to use, it's lightweight, and it's easy to handle on site. It also offers design flexibility because it can be used on curved applications. So if we need to taper a door, it has dual cladding and bracing as well as internal lining. So just offering that little bit extra, insulation, which is something that is quite popular these days. This is the final product. So it's a discrete sectional door made from environmentally sustainable materials. I think it looks fantastic. The client was thrilled, and you can see that they've tied in the materials with the gate and with their head panel as well. So of all the previous examples given, they were obviously of all real timber. But as I said at the beginning of the presentation, there are also doors that are made to look like timber. So we'll just have a quick look at those as well. So which one of these is a timber look garage door, and which one is real timber? Well, actually, both of them are a timber look. This is a zoomed in image, so you can see the real look that you can achieve. This particular door is made by Glyderol. Some of the key features of a timber look door is that they're made from durable steel, but obviously designed to look like real timber, a more affordable alternative than real timber, and they don't need to be resealed or have the same level of ongoing maintenance of a real timber door. So this concludes the presentation today. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you do require any assistance with specifying garage doors, I encourage you to reach out to myself or Terry. We can be contacted via info@pt-doors. The email address is on the screen there, or our phone number is also there. We also have a great website which gives a lot of information, and we have an online quote form. So really encourage that if you do have a project you need price up, to go on and use that quote form. Just gives us all the information we need to provide you with an accurate quote. I think these details will be placed into the comments or the chats as well if you do want them down the track. And just see if there's any questions now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karina. Yes, there are a couple of questions. I'm just looking through them. I actually can't find the question anymore, because somebody asked what would the average cost of a double garage door be in that timber look, or the timber batten, sorry.
Yes, so with the vertically batten timber doors, they can vary because it depends obviously on the batten size, the overall size of the door, the spacings and the backing. Just, I guess, some examples. I've done some recent quotes. You're probably looking on average, by the time it's installed and we use a motor, because we have to use a heavy duty motor, I would say around the 20,000 mark. If it needed to be done as a flush mount door, then you're probably looking closer to the 25,000 mark.
Yes, fantastic. Now, when these timber doors are made, are they going straight onto the framework, or is it actually a flat panel between? Because some people were asking whether or not you could see through the slats, or whether it was actually a sealed element, because of obviously leaves and so forth blowing through.
Yes, so they can actually be made both ways. So the door that I showed in the video, that had the backing that was a black alley composite material, and then the battens were put on with I think in that case was a 15mm spacing. So in that instance, there's no gaps like in the door itself. Typically with sectional doors, there will always be some gaps around the sides, but you can use seals for that. And we do use a manufacturer called Clever Seal. So if they are looking for, complete sealing. Alternatively, if they were after a door that needs, like in a space that needs ventilation, then that would be where we just use what we call a BIT frame. So that's a built-in truss frame, and then they batten the door without a backing.
Okay. We've got a question from Niche. Have you ever worked with Knotwood timber batons?
Not with Knotwood exactly, but one of the manufacturers that we use, Denmark, they do like an alley baton door. I'm not 100% sure on the manufacturer that they're using for their alley buttons, but I don't think it's Knotwood. But in saying that, Denmark is the sort of manufacturer where I can, as long as they've got a relationship with that company, I can usually say, can you price up a door for me? The customer specifically wants to use this product or, these colors.
Fantastic. So we've got another question from Shane. Could you go through a little bit more detail around that curved door that you showed?
So the Shadowclad door. So that one there, when we talk about like the curved, it was tapered, so the ground was out. So where there are some with sectional doors, particularly, they do allow for like a taper, but depending on the manufacturer and the product that you use, sometimes achieving a taper is quite hard. But when we use timber, particularly Shadowclad, it's quite easy to achieve that tapered look. And then obviously in their instance, that head panel, because it was like a sort of a pitched roof, we were able to make them a really nice head panel to match the door.
And when, Karina, people talk about, these aluminium timber look versus timber, what is the UV stability on these aluminium timber look batons like? What is the actual lifespan before they start to fade? Have we got any data on that?
No, I don't have some, but I could probably get some. But what I can say is I find with the timber look doors, there's different. So if we talk about the manufacturer that we predominantly use for those, which is Gladwell, they have sort of 3 grades. So they have their sort of just like a timber look, and then they have a native and a premium paint series. If we use the native or the premium paint series, that's usually a process where it's like a vinyl application and it's baked on. So that would have a lot longer durability than, say, just your basic ColourBond door because of the process that it goes through to get made. But yeah, certainly, if you want to reach out to us, whoever asked that question, we can get you some more data on that. That wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, so if anyone does want to reach out, PT Doors information is in the chat group or the chat little box, sorry. So look on the right-hand side. So I've got a question from Terry. Which type of door, sectional or tilt, is the quickest operating door?
Okay.
It's got to be a weight factor in that, surely.
Yeah. There's a number of variables. So obviously, the bigger and heavier the door is, then the longer it takes to operate. Now, with a tilt door motor, they are actually designed to start off slow. Then the door speeds up, and then right before the end of its operation, it slows back down. I mean, typically, actually, with most Merlin motors, which is our sort of preferred supplier for the automation side of it, they have designed their motors to slow at the beginning and then at the end of operation to avoid the door banging. And it's also a bit of a safety, benefit as well. The thing with a difference with those two that I want to point out is the bigger the door, we would strongly recommend a sectional door over a tilt door. Because when you're making a door out of timber, even though we're using cedar and it is one of the most lightweight, by the time, you put the frame, the fixings, it gets quite heavy. So if you can imagine, a big double door done on the tilt frame where you're just relying on the fittings on the side, it's really heavy, and it's just something that, from our point of view and from a safety point of view and long-term longevity of the door, we would strongly suggest making allowances for a sectional door over a tilt door if you are doing a double opening.
And of the two, which is the quietest?
Look, I think if the doors are installed right and, using a good motor, like as I said, we use the Merlin motor because they are whisper quiet, then both of them should have a quiet operation. I think the way you find that the doors are noisy is where they haven't been installed correctly, maybe not using a good quality motor, or if they've been installed for a few years, they're not being maintained correctly, because with any door, it does need to be serviced regularly. We sort of recommend every 12 to 18 months. If you don't, then any door, will get noisy in time, because it's just like a car.
Oh, look, it's so important. I see garage doors all the time that people don't service. So when was the last time you serviced a door? Oh, probably when it was new. And I said, how long's that? Oh, 15 years. I'm like, mate, you've got to oil. You've got to do something.
Yes.
It's moving parts that need to be
That's
looked after.
Largest moving.
Yeah. So there's also another question, with the world shortage on timber, has this impacted lead times for you manufacturing your timber doors?
Yeah, look, at the moment, the lead times aren't too bad, as a lot of the manufacturers do hold sort of a high amount of stock. I would say, on average, most timber doors are sort of around that 6 to 8 week mark. But, I guess the biggest thing that had the impact is more about the transport and everything with COVID. So we are finding maybe at max a 2 weeks delay, so maybe closer to sort of 8 to 10 weeks, but certainly no longer than that.
Fantastic. I mean, if anyone's got questions, Karina might be able to stay offline and answer some of those questions. I know that your husband Terry is online as well, so if anyone's got any questions, please keep going.